How's lockdown treating you? I haven't seen you since we had lunch, didn't we, at that place in Gosforth?
Dean and Daniels.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been it's been a strange few weeks. You know, lockdown has brought its own challenges as you'd expect. The market has totally changed. The world of funding is just on its head. It's all over the place. You see everyone goes, oh, it's like 2008, it's like whatever, and everyone keeps trying to compare it to another financial time, but it's not. It's different. It's totally different. The world is different. Everything's different. It's always changing, always in flux. And you learn something new every day, and you have to be on top of people all the time. So from a business and work perspective, you have to be smart, you have to be nimble, you have to sit, you have to read, you have to listen, you have to be able to do everything at the minute. You need what was okay yesterday is not going to be okay tomorrow, and what's okay tomorrow probably not going to be all right next week. There's been a lot of that, a lot of movement, a lot of products coming and going, things that were just everything changes. So just about me, I moved over to England in 2005 for university. I'm from a Northern Irish farming family, and basically at the time, the Northern Irish government was sort of against farmers passing on farms to their children. My parents only own I think it's about a 50-acre farm, to try and then split that in half and make two families try and make a living out of 25 acres each. You couldn't do it. So, but me and my brother had never aspirations of being farmers. So he's gone on. He went to university in Dundee, became a doctor. I went to Newcastle, and I've gone into the world, and I went into the world of banking. So I finished university. Went to NatWest RBS for graduate program there, went to Nissan, Rolls-Royce, a few other different places. And then while I was actually waiting for the final decisions about, job offers for that, I actually got offered a full-time position at NatWest at the time in working for Lombard. And I just goes, one was a staged contract where you may have retained your job after 2 years. One was a permanent contract. And being from that kind of farmer's mentality, they showed faith in me really early. They showed loyalty, and they wanted me to be there. So I thought, well, I'd rather take the contract while I can. So that's what I did. And I love working for the bank. It was banking. You learn so much. People give banking and bankers such a hard time, but I loved what I did. I had a couple of managers who just had total faith in me. I had one manager who, if I even spoke to them once a week, he just let me tittle on, get on with what I do. And that show of faith was always what made me want to do more. I've always believed in that sort of ethic of old school banking and old school bankability, in that if you deal with a company, you have to try and all these people wake up one day with a dream and ambition that they want to go on and do something. And if you can do something to help someone get on that journey or get them from A to B, you do it.
If you were to give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
If it was me, if I was saying to myself, I left myself too long unhappy.
Wow.
And I was too long unhappy at something. And it is be more aware. At this time of mindfulness, this time that people talking about mental health, I'm from that, sort of again from that kind of family upbringing, that you don't talk,
What's the best piece of advice you've ever had?
Well, the one I said earlier on is obviously, you get advice from everybody. People will always try and give you advice, and people will always try and tell you something else. But sometimes it's the little daft things that stick with you. And somebody told me when I was, this is not profound or anything that's going to change your world. But I was always told that whenever you go out and do meetings with people, never wear a shirt that shows sweat marks. Never show it. The thing is, and it's a jokey thing to say, but it's never let someone show that you go into a meeting and you know that you're stressed and you know that you're under pressure. But that is, you don't give away telltale signs where you don't need to. That was always, it's something stupid and daft, but it's always been in my head. And it doesn't have to be the big things. This is, it sort of comes round to what is the best bit of advice. But sometimes it's the little things that people tell you that trigger with you and matter the most. I just always remembered that there's always two videos that people have shown me in my life that have always resonated really well with me. One of them is a thing called Ducks and Eagles. So if you look it up on YouTube, it's some guy owns an enormous business up in America, and he talks about ducks and eagles, about how the people who complain are ducks because a complainer will find a complainer, and the people who rise above that are eagles. I've always loved that one. And the other one is, the jar with stones. You fill it with big stones. They say, is it full? You put more and put in more and more. And then the last thing is, by the time you've put the big rocks, the small ones, and whatever else into it, crack a beer and throw it into it. Irrespective of whether it's the big things in life, the small things in life, there's always time for a beer with your mates.